cara bonita, uy, con esa cinturita, uy, mami, yo te voy a dar algo rico para lavar y cachetear, que sí, no fue suerte, fue puro sudor. Cada golpe me dio más valor. Me caí pero con glamour y ahora entro como la mejor. Uy, esta sí está bien limpia. Uy, así es como me gusta. Uy, te voy a poner a limpiar. Ten cuidado con el splash. Dale gas en mí.
Buenas noches. Welcome to Serious Tejano. I'm Triple M, and tonight we have the lovely Hailyn with us here on Serious Tejano. So please sit back, enjoy. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. And I have Jorge with me. Welcome in, Jorge.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Nice surprise. Thank you for dropping in here, sir. Buenas noches, everybody. Welcome to Serious Tejano. And again, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I am Miss Mary, Triple M. I'll let my co-host introduce himself, and we'll get started.
How you doing, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight. Sorry, I'm kind of cramming a little bit, but my name is Jorge Medina, George Medina from Houston, and we got an exciting night tonight with Miss Bella here, and looking forward to meeting her. Getting to know her music, her background, and everything that's going to come here pretty soon. So whenever we're ready, Mary, let's kick it off.
I'm ready. Let's see. Hi, Hailyn. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Now you can finally meet George.
Hi, George. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Pleasure. How was your day today?
Busy.
Yeah.
But good. That's always good, right? I would rather be busy than not busy. So it was awesome. Thank you for asking.
That is true.
And you're tuned in from where? Where are you at, Hailyn? Sorry.
That's okay. I am actually out of Laredo, Texas right now. I was just in San Antonio 2.5 hours ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
I literally just drove in, came, set up my camera, and I was like, join. Let's go.
I like your backdrop back there. I might need to look at something like that for me.
It's
beautiful.
Yeah, it is very beautiful. I am here at actually one of my sponsors, two of my sponsors, at a Coco Berry Boutique in Laredo, Texas. And I'm upstairs at the makeup artist for Marbella. She's my sponsor as well. They just put up this backdrop, and I was thinking, where am I going to do the interview? Am I going to do it? Like, am I going to have time to make it home? And I saw this and I was like, sold. That's where I'm doing the interview.
You're the winner tonight.
Yeah, you picked the winner.
Yeah. And they were like, what are you going to wear? And I was like, give me a bandana. Vámonos. Let's
go.
You see, you and I were on the same lines, but I chose a hat to set up. I had a bandana in my hand too. But
I have my cowboy hat. It saves hair.
There you go. Yeah, it really does. It makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Serious Tejano. I'm so honored to have you with us, and I'm so excited to learn a little bit about you, and we're going to hear some of your music here in a little bit. So I'm excited. So Hailyn, let's get to your name because it's so unique. Where did you get your name from? What's the story of your name?
Oh, shoot. Okay, so this story is unique. I actually just had another friend of mine ask me, like, why is it Hailyn and not Hailyn? And I was like, well, let me tell you real quick. So my parents are from Mexico, my mom and dad, and they did not want to know what I was going to be when I was born. They were like, whatever God gives us, we'll take it and we'll be happy. But my mom and I guess my dad too, like they wanted a boy because I have an older sister. There's 4 of us. I'm the middle child. So they wanted a boy, and my mom decided, hey, you know what? It's going to be a boy. His name is going to be Salvador Vea Jr., and that's the only option they had. So when I came out and I was not a boy, they were like, what the heck are we going to name her? Then there was another lady that had a baby in the morning. I was born in the afternoon, and my mom shared a room with a curtain. And so the lady was on the other side of the curtain, and she's like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful baby. It's a little girl. What are you going to name her? And she was like, oh, her name is Hailyn. And my mom was like, "Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, what are you going to name your baby? Oh, it's going to be a boy." And, named after her dad. The end. And so when I was not a boy, my parents were like, "Well, we really like that name, Hailyn." So there's another Hailyn in the world, born in the same hospital, born on the same day as I am, with the same name, but she probably spells it different. Because my parents, they're from Mexico. So Spanish was my first language. English is their second language. So they were like, "All right, well, we're going to spell it unique." And up until I always thought it was both of them that came up with the idea, but up until maybe about a year ago, my mom actually told me, she's like, "No, I decided how to write your name. I wanted it to be different and unique." And she was an elementary school teacher when she lived in Mexico. And then when they moved over, she got into another career. But so she would always teach like alphabet, and the H is silent. So she put an H and then Hailyn. So whenever I'm in Mexico, everybody says my name correctly. But it's when I'm in the US that they're like, "Hailyn, did I say it right?" And I'm like, "No, you did not. Let me tell you real quick. It's in Spanish. The H is silent. So now you know." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Yeah." And so now whenever I call you and I say it's Hailyn with an H, you know exactly who I am. And they're like, "Yes, I will." And I'm like, sold. So yeah, I always used it as a marketing thing. I never let anybody bully me about it or make fun of me or anything. I actually would put them in their place if they tried to make fun of me. I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, you don't speak two languages. You don't know Spanish. In Spanish, the H is silent." And they're like, "Okay, yes, ma'am." And I'm like, "Right."
Yeah,
So
and you
that's
know what?
how I got my name.
I'm gonna fess up, because Mary, she coached me on how to pronounce her name, because I asked her, I was like, I've never seen this name before. I don't know how to pronounce it, and she
Yeah.
goes, she told me how to pronounce it. So when you came on, I was like, I'll let Mary do the intro because I know I'm gonna mess up.
We'll do that. Well, so
So
now
I'll
you
let
know.
Mary
Okay,
say
so
it first.
yeah, okay, so now I need to hear both of y'all say it to make sure you got it.
Eileen.
There you
Eileen.
go. Woo!
But I want
Good
to say it in
job.
Spanish because it sounds a lot. It probably sounds a lot prettier.
It's the same. Hailyn.
Hailyn.
Hailyn. Yeah, just like the song, like, "Come on, Hailyn." Dun, dun,
Mhm.
dun, 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 dun. See? So it's the same. It's just spelled different.
Spelled the right way.
There you go. Spelled the unique way. HB.
It's spelled the right way. But it built character because you had to be, you had to be ready. And you didn't have any
Yeah.
coffee cups with your name on it or any keychains with your name on it, or Coke bottles.
No, no, I had to make my own.
Oh
Like,
man, you had
all
to say the
right,
Coke
well,
bottles.
oh
Personalized.
shoot. Yeah, yeah. But maybe soon, when my music, you'll see it everywhere on all keychains and all stuff. Like, you never know.
You never know. So speaking of the music, how long have you been in the music industry?
Well, so my dad was actually a musician. He was a self-taught singer, songwriter, guitarist, and he actually was part of the music in the church, the Catholic Church, growing up. That's where he met my mom, and he was all about that life. And he kind of introduced me into the music when I was a baby. My mom said that as soon as I could crawl, and my dad would get home from work late, he would go into the sala and he would start playing the guitar and just start singing and kind of like unwind from a long day, and that I would cry.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost her.
Come back.
Hopefully you can.
Okay.
Am I back? Can you see me?
Yeah, you're
Yes,
back.
yes, you're back.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it said like reconnecting and the circle of death, and then it came back. But yeah, so as soon as I could crawl, I was already crawling towards my dad to listen to him play and sing. So that was when I first got introduced into the music. As I was growing up, I always was around it. My uncles also are all musicians. My grandpa, I didn't really get to meet my grandpa, but he was a professional, like traveling musician, playing the accordion all over Mexico. So music has kind of always been in my life. However, it wasn't until maybe I was like in middle school that I was in band. I actually made it to region band playing the clarinet. I was like, yeah, I'm the nerd of the nerds, you know. And I learned, you know, more of the theory side of it, how to sight read, how to do all that stuff, learning scales and band. And I was in the mariachi and I would play a little bit of guitar and sing. And then I kind of let it go in high school. I, you know, maybe sing in the shower or whatever, but that was always my dream. However, I believed it when people would tell me, no, that's too big of a dream. You can't do that. You need to go like the safe route, you know, go and get a degree and go and get a job. And that's it. You know, that's not for you. And so I just kind of left it at that, but it was always in my heart, always in my dreams. And so fast forward to when I was about 26, I got married really young. I got married when I was 20, and when I filed for divorce, it was actually on my 26th birthday. That was my gift to myself. I was like, here you go. That's when I asked myself, well, who am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to do with my life? What can I accomplish? You know, if I started a business and I grew it to be a very large and successful company at the age of 20 all the way to when I was 26, I was like, you know, if I could do that, why can't I go and do music? Why can't I go and take guitar lessons, singing lessons, and start writing? Like, I've always loved writing, and I always got like scholarships and awards for my work. And so I was like, I can. And I had a coach that kind of pushed me in that direction. He was like, just carve away 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and then you can, you know, keep going and keep going. And I thought, well, why? It's such a far-fetched dream. No, I mean, it's not for me. But then I was like, you know what, you're right. What's 5 minutes? And then what's taking one lesson? What's taking another lesson? And so on and so forth, to the point where I was writing, I was recording, and that's kind of where I really started going in the more professional route. Taking professional vocal lessons, taking classes for piano, for guitar, and all that. But it wasn't until I was about 26, 27 that I really started being able to do that a lot more. I just turned 38. So, you know, I guess it's in a way, I like my story because I can tell people, hey, it doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, what you've been through, what you're going through, where you are in life. If you can just start a little bit and you keep going forward and you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you're eventually going to get there. And right. Don't let anybody take you away from what you know is possible and what your dreams are and what was put in your heart. So I haven't been doing it professionally like since I was born, like a lot of artists have. I just work hard, and I feel and I really believe that discipline and like the drive will always outshine raw talent every single time. So maybe you were born with it, but you're not gonna be better than I am. You're not gonna work harder than I am because, and not to say like you're not gonna be better than I am, not be better at me or than me when it comes to the discipline side of it, you know, because I will do whatever it takes, and I will practice, and I will wake up when nobody's watching, and I will do whatever I got to do to push forward. So, you know, having that drive, I really believe is, and the discipline is going to always outshine raw talent, because you may have been born with it, but if you're not training it and you're not working towards your goal and treating it like a business and going for it, then, you know,
and you're not disciplined. You have to be disciplined in your art. Like, you have to be disciplined in yourself.
In anything that we do, I believe. Anyway, that's my opinion. So yeah, that's, I guess, a long answer to your question, but I was always around it since I can remember, probably since I was in my mom's belly when my dad would sing to her. But going after it like I have now, and to be able to record and all of that, maybe about seriously, maybe about 10 years or so, but not to the extent that I am now. It started off just baby steps the first few years, until I was able to like really get my momentum going in that direction.
So you grew up listening to music, obviously, your family.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you to this side of like of all the genres? Why did you pick this genre?
In Tejano,
Yeah,
yes. So
why Tejano music?
So I actually grew up in Laredo. I was born and raised in Laredo, but I tell people like, don't worry, because everybody's like, but you've lived in San Antonio half your life, and I'm like, chill, bro. I represent the 956 and the 210 together, so I don't want to hear it. But I, um, I was born and raised in Laredo, Texas, border town of Mexico. Uh, really big on Tejano music when I was little. That's what I remember. I remember, obviously, everybody knows Selena, Intocable. I remember going to go watch Intocable when I was little. Um, you know, all of those songs that we all listen to and we're like, I love that song. It's so nostalgic. Un Millón de Rosas. All those amazing hits from back then. I grew up around that. And when I was writing my music, I always had the intention of, hey, I'm going to do English pop, right? That was always my goal, my dream. Like, I want to do that. And I want to perform at the Super Bowl one day. If I'm going to dream, I'm going to dream big. Let's go for it. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but one day, one day. And I just always had that thought. And I hooked up with a producer in San Antonio when I started doing everything, Chris Leak. He had a lot of experience in the Tejano world. I know he had a lot of amazing artists under his label, Tejas Records. So he had like Elida Reina, he had Stephanie Montiel, he had Shelly Lares, all those amazing artists were once with him at some point or another. And at this point, when I went to him, he wasn't really in the Tejano world anymore. He has a school and he's amazing and I love him to death. I learned so much from him. And I told him, this is what I want to do. And it took me a while because remember, I'm going through a divorce when I start working on my music. I'm going and I'm having to handle a big company and show no fear while in the background, like I'm in shambles over here personally and mentally and emotionally. And you can't, the business doesn't stop. And so I have to handle all of that. And then at the same time, I'm like, I really want to do this one day. So all these things are happening. So I didn't get it all done as fast as I wish I could have, but it's okay. Like I had to go through that process. I had to go through all of that in order to become the person that's ready to handle it right now in front of you guys. So I started doing that, and I think about 2 years after I started working with Chris, and we had, maybe 8 songs recorded in English pop. I went on a trip to Mexico City with my dad, where my dad was from. And he showed me, like, I lived in that house. Like, it was like dirt was our floor. He came from nothing and he only went to school in 6th grade in Mexico City. So he was a really hard worker. He's like, mira, mija, si yo pude hacer eso, y ahora tú naciste en los Estados Unidos, you have an education, you have dual citizenship, I gave you everything, like you better go after your dreams and you better do whatever it takes to do way more than what I gave you. So when that happened, I came back from that trip and I told Chris, I absolutely have to do something with Spanish. I have to incorporate the roots where I'm from. I had never been to where my dad was from. That was the first time I went to Mexico City. And we got to write about this. I want to write about this. I want those beats. I want those sounds. And so we kind of shifted a little bit. We started doing stuff and I was like, I want to do Tejano song. I want to do a cumbia. I want to do something that I grew up with. This is super important to me. And he was like, all right, let's do a cumbia. So we had a cumbia. We were kind of working with some Spanish pop in the background, but we were like, well, we're ready to release the English pop EP, and with just one cumbia. And that's when COVID happened. So COVID happens, and he's like, Chris is so awesome. He's gonna be like, if he watches this, he's gonna be like, I don't speak like that, and I'm like, yes, you do. He was like, oh my goodness, the world's gonna end. I don't know, if it's a good idea to release your EP right now. We don't know what's gonna happen, and we really didn't. It was a scary time back then. And so he's like, let's just release one cumbia, just one. Let's see what happens. He's like, I know somebody that can put it out and see if anybody likes it. And that was where I met Rosie. I still have not met her in person, because during COVID, nobody met anybody. It was all virtual. And I rewrote my lyrics and I called it Cuarentena Cumbia. I wrote about the quarantine and what it was like. And it was kind of like to make light of the situation that we were all in. So we release it and it hits and people are like, we want more. And I was like, do you like English pop or Spanish pop? Because that's all I have. And they're like, no, queremos tejano, like in the Selena movie, queremos bailar, And I was like, okay. So then I have this conversation with Chris and we're like, give the people what they want. They want Tejano. Let's make another track and make it a Tejano track. And so I was accidentally, but I don't believe in accidents, put into the Tejano genre because people liked it and they wanted more. And then when I gave them Grandecita, it blew up even more and they wanted more. And so I'm like, okay, I'm a Tejano artist. And I was always very transparent. I was like, please forgive me if I don't know all the artists, if I don't know everything, because I have not listened to Tejano since I was a little kid. Because me going into the Tejano genre was out of the love of my roots and putting a cumbia out there, and you all like welcomed me with arms wide open. So I said, all right, let's do this. So I would, at every interview, I led with that. I'm like, please forgive me if I don't know everything. I will learn it, but give me grace here because I'm learning more to embrace who I am, where I'm from, and the history behind everything, and really understand more than what I remember from when I was little. So that's how I went into the Tejano world, and I had a different sound because remember, I was really excited about bringing who I am, not just my culture, but like my family tree with me in my music. And so that incorporated a lot of sounds that were not just Tejano, but I wanted to blend them together and bring that to everybody. So Grandecita was a little bit more Tejano. That was the second single I released. Then I released Soy una Señorita. People loved it. It was a different sound. It was kind of pop mixed with cumbia, heavy accordion, very empowering for women, and a whole different sound than what Tejano was really used to, but not that different because I had the underlying tones of the Tejano composition, with Chris on my team. So I'm doing all of this, and at that moment, I had already sold my other company, and I was looking into getting into a different career. I watched the novela with Jenny Rivera, where she, like, I remember this perfectly, crystal clear, Mary. She's like, some dude comes and deposits a check, and she's like, do you mind if I ask what you do? I'm the bank manager right now. This is Jenny talking. And he's like, yeah, I'm in real estate. And I was like, oh my goodness, why did I not go get my license forever ago? That would allow me time to go and visit my family in Laredo, go and do my music, go and do whatever I need to do. And I can have the funds to support it,
The flexibility.
The flexibility is amazing. And there's no limit. There's no limit in real estate, and real estate will always be there. Everybody always has to go to a piece of real estate. You guys are at a piece of real estate right now. I'm at a piece of real estate right now. We all go home to a piece of real estate. It's not going anywhere. So I was like, oh my goodness. I should have done this a long time ago, but I was focused on other things. So I said, okay, well, let me do that. So while I'm releasing, I had just released Soy una Señorita. I'm taking all my exams, getting everything ready so I can get my real estate license. And then I was in school for like a full month straight. Like my brain was like, oh my gosh, but I was like, okay, I got to do this and I got to take the test and whatever. Then I do the music video, and then the Hano explosion is going on in San Antonio. I was living in San Antonio at the time. I moved to San Antonio from the age of 17 up until I, very recently, a few months ago, that I moved back to Laredo. So I was a DJ with KLMO, and I was on Big Boy's morning show as a co-host twice a week. All these things were happening, and all this momentum and all this amazing support from the fan base in the Tejano world. And stations like you guys, everybody was so amazing that I'm like, okay, you know what, like, let's do it. And then something really unexpected happened. My mom and dad both got COVID. My mom's still here, but my dad unfortunately didn't make it. And yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It'll be 4 years this summer, and it still feels sometimes like yesterday. And when that happened, my world stopped. Everything stopped. I stopped it all. I was like, I can't do music. I can't do this. And looking back now, I'm like, man, I went through a really bad depression. I just didn't want to admit it. I went on my Facebook and all my social media, and I said, you know what? Thank you for all your support. I just need a little bit of time to go through this process. Thank you all so much for being so respectful. And everybody was so supportive, right? Everyone's grieving process is different. Mine took 4 years. And sometimes, like right now, I'm okay. I'm not crying talking about my dad, but sometimes it'll get you. It'll get me. I could see a picture of my dad, or I could see a little girl with her dad holding his hand, and I'll start bawling, because my dad's not here anymore. And he's the one that got me into the music. So it was very scary. It was very challenging to go back into the studio and record without my biggest fan cheering me on. And then I finally got brave again. But prior to that, when I announced like, hey, this is what happened, please allow me space and be respectful of my time, everybody was amazing. I released my last single, that was Salvador Bella, which was dedicated to my dad and to anybody that lost a parent, especially through COVID, anyone that has lost a loved one, because it's not easy, and nobody will understand what you're going through unless they have had a similar unless they've had a similar situation, or even then, nobody ever knows what you're going through, because everyone has a different life experience
and like dynamic, and I can relate to you. I went through a similar experience, so I know what you I can only imagine what it feels like. I'll say that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's challenging. And I had just gotten my real estate license. So here I am starting a new business, moving to another city to be with my mom and my sister and support them through their grieving process. And, just it shook everybody's world up. And that was the last song that I released. So I hadn't been in the studio in over 4 years. So it wasn't until, honestly, like when I turned 38, which was this past March, that I really started thinking, you know what, like, I need to go and take some pictures for real estate. I need to take some updated, professional shots. But I mean, I'm already going to get my hair and makeup done. And I had already been thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should take some pictures for being an artist. I might get back into it soon, like maybe at the end of the year or something. And I had that. I took some pictures. I called Chris. He was awesome. Let me take pictures at the studio. And then my dad's birthday was at the beginning of April. So we were both Aries. We get stuff done. But I wrote my dad a letter. I wrote him a letter for his birthday. My sisters and I had like a little ceremony to remember him and be like, Dad, we miss you. We love you. Happy birthday, And my sisters wrote like a letter, because one of my little sister was like, we should write Papi a letter and ask him for help in whatever, we're going through right now. And they wrote stuff, but I took a freaking letter like front and back, and like, Papi, quiero que me ayudes con esto, con mi música, quiero empezar a grabar otra vez, quiero que me ayudes a vender estas casas que tengo, más clientes, and all this stuff. My sisters were like, that's your letter? And I was like, should I make it longer? And they're like, no, you're fine. Like, are you done yet? So I wrote him a letter.
What you say? That's just the intro.
Yeah, I haven't even gone
running a ballad here.
We're on. That's just the intro to chapter 1.
I know, bro. They didn't even get it. But anyways, so yeah, I wrote him a letter, and I kid you not, about 4 or 5 days later, Dan Matthews from Club Jumpers, Sam Michaels and Dan Matthews, I don't know if you're familiar with who they are, he reached out to me, and he was like, hey, I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. I lost my dad almost 2 years ago, and my mom passed away a few months ago, and I love to play your music. But later on, he told me, he's like, I watched the video, the music video with the song you dedicated to your dad, and I was bawling. And I was like, yeah, I watch it and I start bawling too, because it has clips of my dad and I together. And so he was like, I wanted to help you. Something told me to help you. And I was like, it was my dad. He called you.
Your ear.
Yeah, like he's hanging out with your dad right now, and they're both playing guitar and being like, you know what, you're gonna help me, and you're gonna help me, and let's do this. So that happened in April, and here we are, very beginning of June, and we already released 3 singles. We have a lot of music that we're cutting vocals for. I literally just drove in from the studio in San Antonio. All these amazing things are happening. I had no idea. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, Danny, if you're listening, just close your ears. But
you're Danny. Please go to the next video for a minute.
I know. Yeah, just pause it for a second. He was like, he called me, we got on the phone, and I was like, hey, thank you so much for playing my music. You made my year. You have no idea. Nobody's asked me for my music in 4 years. I haven't released anything, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you really don't know who I am? And I was like, I have no idea, but thank you so much for reaching out. And he was like, I usually, like, I don't talk about myself, but, did you even look at my website? And I was like, dude, I'm a real estate agent. I have so many calls. I missed his call, and I didn't even see his message until way later. I responded super late, like, oh my goodness, thank you so much, or whatever. Like, I'm on the go. Like, I have clients in Laredo and in San Antonio, and it's a very demanding career. And so he was like, well, I have a lot of Billboard awards. And I was like, you have a lot of Billboard awards? Have you sold a lot of commercial real estate? I didn't even know they had awards for Billboard sales. And he was like, I'm aging myself. This is how, 80s babies. He was like the music Billboard, like the magazine. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course you're talking about the music stuff and not the real estate commercial billboards on the side of the wall. And he's like, yeah, like I think he really was like, I don't know if I can work with this girl. She doesn't even know what
and don't tell me not for a second. You were like, well, that's great, but were we still talking about properties or not? Because I didn't get down to business.
Are you interested in buying a house or not?
Get down to business. Were we still talking about properties?
I totally did. And by the end of the call, I was like, so, you could tell me your address or I can look it up because I have real estate powers. Have you ever thought about selling your house? Or if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell a property, please let me know. Because, I'm more than happy to help them. I'm bilingual. I'm in both markets. And my brokerage is in all, dude, this is rolling out.
Congratulations on your billboards, by the
way. Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, I heard you had some awards there.
Yeah.
So what did you do when you realized who you were talking to?
I started laughing. I was like, Oh my God. I started laughing at myself. Like, and you know what? They are so freaking humble. And I still don't fully understand or know who he is. And he's like, that's why I love you. Because you only care about the music. You know, you have no clue. And he'll say, like, oh, and I just got off the phone with blah, 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 blah. And they want to say hi to you. And I'm like, dude, I'm being such a diva. I'm like, dude, no, you're going to get the melody out of my head. And he's like, do you know who's on the phone right now? I was like, hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm going to go back into the studio, keep recording because I don't want to lose the melody in my head. And he's like, this girl has no idea. You know,
She means business. She just means business. That's
I
it.
just want to get my music out. But yeah, so once I kind of realized, I was like, I had like a little mini panic attack, like freak out moment when I was sitting at my house and I was like, oh my God, is this real life? Like, is this really happening right now? And I was just like, oh my God. So I went through okay, so I'm going to act out what I went through. I was like, OMG. And then I was like, OMG. And I was like, OMG. And I was like, OMG! You know, and I'm like running around, and then like my dogs are like, what the hell? And I'm like picking up my dogs, and I was like, you don't understand, like we did it. We finally met the person that can help us. And so yeah, I've gone through like all sorts of sometimes I feel like I'm driving Fast and the Furious, like trying to avoid all the objects, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. And then other times I'm like, I just want ice cream and I just want sleep so bad, you know, and then other times I'm like, yeah, I can do this, and I'm like, dun, 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 you know, and like it's all sorts of emotions happening all in like a matter of 60 seconds. So that to answer your question, that's what it was like when I realized, like, oh wow, okay, we're doing this, you know, yeah,
it's real, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and every single day, you guys, every single day, something amazing happens. I get to connect with somebody that opens a million doors and all these things, and it's just happening so freaking fast. And I used to have a business advisor and life coach, the one that encouraged me to, even if it's just 5 minutes. He used to call all his clients by a nickname. And this was before he knew what my goals are or anything. He was like, I have a nickname for you. It came to me in meditation. And I was like, he's foo-foo, you know? And I was like, okay, I don't know what I signed up for here, but, you know, obviously you know what you're doing. Yeah.
You're like, this guy's about to assign me a spirit animal and all that.
But you know what's funny? It's like, I love all of that stuff now. Like, I'm all about it. But at the beginning, I was like, I don't know about this. And he was like, I got your nickname. And I was like, hit me. And he was like, Shining Star. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, what did I sign up for? Okay. And so then he stopped calling me by my name. Yes. I was like, oh, okay. I already signed up for the year, so I guess I'm gonna be your shining star, I guess, you know.
We get a refund for this.
And there's no refunds. I had to sign a contract. And so I was like, all right, it is what it is. Let's, you know, put my boots on, and I'm like, you know, all right, let's do this. So yeah, and so it's funny, but I started embodying that. I was like, I am a shining star, you know, like stuff would hit the fan and I'd be like, you know what? I'm a freaking shining star. I'm gonna shine above all this crap that's happening. I don't know how, and I don't know where the freaking blessing is. I really wish I did, but you know, he says, shining star, there's a blessing in all of this. And I'm like, you know what you can do with your shining star and your blessing? You know, but
like, but now you see the vision. Now you feel the vision. Now you are the vision. I mean, you came out with so much music. And God, girl, your story is just, I mean, we're just scratching the surface, but your story is amazing. I want to thank everybody that's with us right now. I haven't been able to say hi because I've been so... Like, I think like we took Red Bulls at the same time because I'm able to keep up with her right now. I'm like, I'm with you.
I don't even. And what's funny is this is me high on life. Like, I can't drink caffeine because it makes me sick. I don't do energy drinks. I'm not on Hale
You
or
don't need
anything.
caffeine,
Like,
girl. You don't need any
I'm just
caffeine,
like,
girl.
woo!
I was
Like,
about to
let's
say I'm still
go.
working out the iced coffee from this morning. And
You're like a
It's
ball of energy. But
overrated.
big saludos to everybody that's watching us here on Sirius Tejano, on Facebook, on YouTube. Big saludos to the 956. We have Dallas in the house, San Antonio, Colorado, Waxahachie. We got Eagle Pass. So saludos. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and meeting Hailyn Bea. She is amazing. And if you didn't catch the beginning, go watch it after the show because hi Dylan. Big saludos to everybody that's watching and hanging out. You talked about the music. You write your own music. You are all parts of this music. Like this isn't just someone hands you and you're like, I can sing well, so I'm gonna sing it. This is like your blood, sweat, and tears.
These are my stories. Every single song that I release is a story, a page written or taken out of my life. And I really am proud of that because I want to relate to my fans. I want to be a role model for people. I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that no matter what, you can get out of it. I want you to know that even if you're at the top, you can fall, and it's okay. You get back up because that's what I've experienced. And like you mentioned, and you brought it all together, Mary. I really believe that the reason why everything didn't, like my divine timing, didn't happen yet was because I needed to grow into the person that I am today to actually handle it. And I remember multiple times throughout my entire life, people either loved me or they didn't. There really wasn't an in between. And it's kind of like the Taylor Swift song says, like, you gotta just shake it off because haters gonna hate. And in that, like, hey, you can throw shade at me or whatever, dude. Like, you have no idea what I've been through, and I just send you love. I'm at that place where I can just do that and be like, you know what? I'm sorry. It sounds like you're having a hard time in life right now. I wish you well. And that's it. I don't hang out in that vibe or that energy. So going through all of that, I really had to. So that now I can do this. And if people are like, oh, overnight success, or, well, you're lucky, you have your business or whatever, I'm like, I wish you could step into my shoes, and I wish you could rewind and actually see that it was not an overnight success. What you see here today was built. It was not given, and it's still being built. We're never ending project. We all are. You're always just getting ready to be ready to be ready. That's like from Abraham Hicks. I love Abraham Hicks. And you just keep going. Until your last breath, you're still always going to be a work in progress, in my opinion, right? So I want to be that role model. I want to relate to people. I want you to know that I care and that somebody out in the world has done what you want to do possible, and somebody in the world is worse off than you, so be grateful. And somebody in the world wants to sing songs that can at least help you get away from it all, even if it's just for 3 minutes, even if I just inspire you, even if I made you laugh. Hey, I'm doing my job. Because I believe that if I was given these skills and I was giving this life, and I'm still breathing, then it's my responsibility, it's my duty to bring my gifts to the world, because there's so many people that need to hear it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it, And so if I do that, if I help even just one person every day, it was so worth it. I will die happy. Life is so precious. I learned that. And it can be taken away in an instant. We don't have an expiration sticker. We don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. I don't know if you're going to be here. We don't. So live every day like it's your last. Sounds super cliche, but I promise you. And Mary, you said you related. George, I don't know if you've related, but if you've lost a loved one, it can change in a millisecond. and you're just like, whoa,
Oh yeah,
was not
definitely can
expecting that.
relate.
Your
Yeah,
world
you know,
changing.
I lost my mom at 14,
I'm so
and
sorry.
I'm 44 now, and people tell you, "Oh, well, how did you get through it?" I was like, who the hell said I got through it? It's one of those, that never goes away. But it makes me stronger, and still continues to make me stronger. I got two boys of my own now, and I really, I don't talk about it with them, but I just, whatever I see them going through, I try to just say, hey, trust me, it could be a lot worse. That's what I try to tell
Yeah.
them. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah. I mean, we
Well,
live in the US.
And
Mhm.
when you write your music, I mean, like the song you wrote for your father, like it touches everyone in a certain way, and like how powerful is music, like and you get to do that, you get to write that, you get to feel it, you get people. That's amazing. So thank you for that. Let's talk about a couple of your songs, and you're just releasing. I'm looking. She has a website. If y'all don't know, do you want to promo your website here?
Sure. It is EileenBea.com, and I am going to spell it for everybody. So it's spelled H, like the silent H, A for apple, I for igloo, L for lemon, Y for yellow, N for Nancy, and then my last name, Bella, B as in boy, ELLA. Ooh, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel so special. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, so you just go to EileenBea.com and you can find everything on there. You'll be able to click on links to the 3 singles that we're really pushing right now. My new music, I'm so excited about it. It's a whole new sound, and you can also subscribe to all of my yes.
There you go.
I love it. Yes, you can subscribe to all my social media and keep up with everything. We are changing everything about who I am as an artist and just bringing it to the big leagues. We're not messing around. I have an amazing team behind me, starting with Club Jumpers, Sam and Dan. Dan's also my talent manager. Having them produce my music, oh my gosh. And then aside from that, my sponsors, which is the beautiful boutique where you see all my outfits and everything, Coco Berry Boutique here in Laredo, Texas. And then my makeup, coming up with like the different color palettes and figuring all that out. Marbella, she does her thing. She's also here at Coco Berry in Laredo, Texas. I have a sponsor for my jewelry. Not only do I have that, but I have the most amazing team. A husband and wife team that is doing all of my social media, all of my pictures, all of my videos to be able to get it to you all. And that's Dylan and Piano Shively. They're amazing. And their 2 little boys are also part of the team. They have been working as much as we do. They come to the photo shoots. They come to the music videos. Like, I have such an amazing support system. I have, my family, my super close friends, which is really only like my team and like 1 or 2 other people. I keep my circle very tight. But our team is so freaking amazing. And then if you go to the website, you get to see Dennis, my web developer, his work on there. So we're working 24/7 to really bring who I am as an artist, and me being able to do it full time now and giving it all I got and being able to say, I'm ready, I'm here, this is me, and bring you all this stuff, bring you stories from my life, and package it in such a way that that everybody is able to relate to it. And on top of that, being able to have my real estate. So thank you, Jenny. She's probably up there with my dad and with Dan's dad and, hanging out, for giving me the idea of going for my real estate license and being able to have my record label support all of this that you see.
It's amazing. I'm going through the website right now. You can click on any of the links to all the music media platforms, because you're on Amazon, Spotify, YouTube. You're on all of them.
Major. It's over like 150 platforms everywhere.
And then you can click on the music. You can go to her merch store, and there's some merchandise on there. You can find the website here on Facebook. Go to her profile, about, and you click on the link. It takes you directly there. Like, you guys don't have an excuse. So what I do need y'all to do is go to those music media platforms, follow her, and stream her music to help push her and bump her in those genres, which that's what we need to do. So everyone go to the music media platforms and just stream her music, as well as request it on all the DJs that are playing Tejano, on TikTok, on Facebook, on all the other apps. There's so many apps out there. Tejano is at your fingertips. And we can get, I think, Bea on all of them. So it's all up to you all that are watching this interview, either now or later. Go request her music on all the DJs and apps that are playing Tejano music and conjunto music.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Yeah, if you all just really follow the music, listen to it if you love it. Even if you don't, like, give me feedback and let me know. But if you don't, I'm gonna just be like, okay, just keep scrolling. Like, that's fine. But I hope you do, you know. And like Mary mentioned, and thank y'all so much for again allowing me to be here. Rosie from Rap Promotions, thank you for setting this up. Like, I have such a large team of experts that are working hard 24/7. There's so much that goes into being an artist that people don't even realize, that we're doing to share this gift with the world. And aside from that, another way that people can support me, and it will be on my website in probably the next couple of days, aside from following me on all social media, aside from requesting my music and liking it and, you know, helping it go viral, we will be opening up more spots for sponsorship. So, you know, I have to incorporate my business mind into it. So not only can you buy or sell property through me,
there's also a realtor link on that same site, okay?
There is. Yeah, absolutely there is. Pretty soon it'll say broker. So it's a broker. I am working on getting my broker license. Hopefully by the end of this month, I should have my broker real estate license. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a fun ride. But sponsors, if you guys own a business, or if you know somebody, or if you'd like to just donate so that we can continue to grow and get more to the public faster, that would be awesome. But there's all sorts of opportunities if you own a small business or you know somebody that owns a small business. We are going to be releasing my new music video tomorrow, maybe a little sooner, you never know. And
you gotta follow her so you can find out.
Yes, yeah. So, you know, you'll see on the music video, there's going to be opportunities on there and all my social platforms to be able to associate with me. We are going to have meet and greets. We are going to get me to go on tour really soon. There's so much that's going on, and all of it will be on my website as it continues to go, and on my social media. And I'm excited. I don't know if you're there for a second. My alarm to feed my dogs is going.
I know my dogs will give you like.
I apologize. I forgot to silence that. But yeah, I'm excited to share everything with everybody, especially the new music video coming out. And I have a lot. I have a lot of music coming out by the end of this month. It's gonna be freaking awesome. Like, I mean, who does that? Who releases 3 singles all at once from a 4-year hiatus? I do.
Yeah.
And there's
somebody's got to do it.
I'm excited.
She's all, let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that. You know, I got a question on your music. So
obviously you guys can hear me.
What's that?
Yeah, we got you now.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So you got some good range. You got great talent.
You are. Okay.
Any other genres you're thinking about getting into?
If you have any questions, or if you want to know a little bit more about the stories that inspired each of the songs, I will talk forever. So you have to tell me, like, we're gonna mute you now because it's time to go. Then you just tell me, or you can just
hear us?
Mute.
I think there's a lag.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, okay. I can't hear you.
You can't hear us.
I can't hear you. I can't.
How about now?
So I guess I can just keep talking. Like I'll just go. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I can't hear you. I hear my song. So I'll talk about this one, and then when you want me to stop talking, just mute or be like, hey, like stop, and I'll stop. But so the song that's playing right now is called Soy de Ti. It was actually inspired from a kind of like unspoken of love. I met this guy who is actually a really good friend of mine, really, really good friend. And we had like this amazing attraction, but he was always afraid of us losing our friendship if it ever didn't work out. And so that's why the lyrics are like, you know, ese día fue mi favorito, me llevaste a la tienda con ojitos, we went to go eat, me abriste todas las puertas, like you're everything I wanted. Like, why won't you go out with me? Why don't you like me back? You know? And he's like, I don't want to mess it up. I want you in my life forever. And if it doesn't work out, like, it's not going to be the same. And I'm like, you're so weird. Yeah, so I wrote the song thinking about a really fun day that was inspired by an encounter with law enforcement. We were driving, he was driving my car, and we got pulled over. And they let us off with a warning because they were like, ma'am, we're going to let you off with a warning. This is your car. It's your vehicle, blah, blah, blah. We need to see all your identification. And I won't go into details, but it was intense. And they were like, we're going to let you off with a warning because your husband didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and then he was like, and we both looked at each other and he was like, yeah, I'll be right back. And then like he leaves and another officer comes and he was like, did he just say I was your husband? And I was like, he did. He's like, look at you manifesting this. Like, I feel like you're like one way or another. I'm going to get you. And I was like, dude, I didn't even do anything. You know, like, chill, bro. And he was like, I can't believe this. He thinks we're married. And then another guy comes and he was like, did the other officer explain to you that we're going to let you off with a warning? We're going to hold on to your ID until, you know, Monday. Sir, here's your ID back. But ma'am, because it was your vehicle, we're going to hold on to it. And I was like, what? You know, and I told him, I was like, are you sure? And he's like, oh, I'm positive we can do this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yes, I know. And I'm like, okay, well, fine. And then we get pulled over and I was like, I told you. And he was like, I'm so sorry, but I got my ID back. And I was like, yeah, what about mine? And so the dude comes back. He's like, you know, just wanted to let you know because you're a husband. And he stayed quiet. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, officer. Didn't say that he was not my husband. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go to jail. I'm not going to say it's not my husband. And then after that, a third officer, he's like, I'll be right back. And we're like, okay. Another guy comes and he's like, did they explain to you? And we're like, yes, because my husband didn't know and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, good. I'm glad you know. I'm going to need you to sign this affidavit saying that your husband didn't. And I was like, I have to sign this that says he's my husband? Yes, ma'am. And then we can let you go. Please hurry. And I was like,
yeah, that sounds like a roadside justice of the peace thing.
And he's looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm like, I'm about to sign that we're married. And he was like, great. And I was like, I didn't even take a picture of the freaking affidavit. Like, so somewhere in the legal system, it says we're married. We are not married. But that's what inspired the song. Because it's like, todos piensan que soy de ti. Everybody thought we were married. Everywhere we went, they thought we were married. So obviously, he likes me back. He just doesn't want to risk it. And I'm like, well, you're going to regret that one day. But I still like you. No, damn it. At least you were my husband for a little bit. So anyway, that was that story. I'm getting a text message from Rosie saying to log off. So I think it's time for me to
come back.
Out.
You can come back.
Oh, keep going?
No, come back.
Log off. Rosie's like,
LOL,
log off. Oh, keep going. Keep going or log off? You want me to log off?
Log off and come back.
You want me to keep going?
Log off and come
out
back.
And then come back in.
Log off and log back on? Okay, this is like charades. I win,
Billboards.
right? Okay, let me hit done and then log back on.
Yes.
Okay, we're back.
She's
We
so
should
much
we should
fun. I
we should have
love
started
it.
keeping score on that one because that
I
was
was like,
charades.
no, go in and then come out. Like that is. If y'all have any questions for Hailyn, please put them in the chat. I want to thank Jesse. I know we had Corpus Christi in here. Danny Noyola. Hi, there she is. Now you can hear us.
Now you can hear
Can you hear us now?
It's like that should be our theme. We play charades with our artists. I mute, George mutes.
Yeah, I was saying billboards the whole time.
Like, billboards,
We're just
and
singing
I'm
for
like,
you.
I got married. I'm going off on this crazy tangent.
We
Well,
heard you.
we heard all that.
We heard all of that.
Yeah, we heard all of that. Yeah, we heard all of that.
No, we heard the whole story. I really want to know why you got pulled over, but we can talk about that another time.
I was saying that was like a roadside justice of the peace service right there.
Different interview.
I'm telling you, like, that's why I'm like, dude, I have been given this crazy life. I need to write about it because if I can relate to somebody somewhere, somehow, they could be like, you know what? I had to sign that I was married too and I wasn't. And they're like, she did it too, so it's okay. It is okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't want law enforcement to hear that. But anyway, but yeah, so that's the story for that song. But yeah, Lavándome is going on right now. That's a whole other story. So, dude, I can talk forever. You guys just need to tell me. I don't even know. Like, the ladies, I kind of kicked them out of their own salon here. They all went downstairs. They're like, this girl's loud. And she's doing an interview, but she wanted the backdrop. So they were real sweet. They went downstairs to go finish all their hairstyles. So I'm here until everybody kicks me out. So I'm happy to keep chatting. I'm happy to log off. I'm happy to do whatever y'all need me to do. I'm here for you.
We have a little bit more time. We talked about the music a little bit, and there's a story behind every, which makes it that much more relatable. And that's awesome. We're gonna have to do it again sometime. But
Absolutely.
so you have more music coming. You said you might be traveling to and performing. Have you recently, like, where we're gonna be at, or is that in the works?
It is already, like, I already know, but I'm not allowed to say yet. So yeah, I feel like it was such a blessing and amazing thing that I have my real estate license and I'm working on getting my broker license because I understand contracts very well. And so there's a lot of contracts that were signed. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I'm not able to say quite yet, but when I do, you're gonna be like, oh shoot, well, let me hear the song about how that happened. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of amazing things happening. All I can say is that get ready because HB is here. I am ready. Lots of amazing things going on that I'll be able to talk about in just a couple of weeks. I have amazing features on my album already, and we're getting all sorts of other collabs getting organized as we speak. And that music should be released by the end of this month. I intend on releasing a lot of music very, very soon and very, very fast. Like, you're going to be like, we didn't realize it was that fast. And we're like, oh yeah, I told you. So yeah, that's my intention is to continue releasing a lot of music and doing it as fast as I can to make up for lost time, because I've been out for a little bit. So I'm excited to bring that to the world, to my fans, to all of you guys. Oh shoot, sorry. And be able to do that. I can tell you that I will be going on tour soon. I can't tell you where yet. I can tell you that I will be performing out of state. I know there's a gig that I am ready to do in Detroit. The dates are still getting solidified, but I will be there. So I will be traveling a lot. I will be coming to a lot of different places. Maybe I'll be able to stop by in Dallas one day and say hi. Yes. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. I'm working 24/7. Like, seriously. Dan gets mad. I love you, Danny. He gets mad because I make a, yeah, I'm like, hey. he got so mad at me the other day, and I was like, dude, whatever. Because I wake up at like 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning
You
to
hit the
go
ground
work
running.
out. Yeah, I like going to Pilates in the morning. And I woke up and I had this amazing idea. And I'm like texting him and then this and then this. And I've been told that I should just do it all in one paragraph, but that I'm not a paragrapher. This idea came to my mind, text, text. So you get like 18 different texts that could have all been solidified into like one little thing. But I'm like, oh, and then I talk and I text and I write the way that like I'm gonna have a conversation. So I'll have conversations by myself all the time. And then he was like, are you freaking kidding me? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, you should have it on silent. Like what? He's like, well, obviously I don't, and now I'm awake. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I had to tell you my idea so I wouldn't forget. And so, yeah, like, there's so much happening, so much, and it's happening fast. And I have an amazing team. I'm excited to share with all of you guys, everybody here at Sirius FM, Sirius Radio, online. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be on your platform, to be able to chat with you guys. Like, this was so fun for me. I'm really happy that I was able to do it and just be like, ooh, this is a nice backdrop. We're doing it here.
It looks beautiful. You're beautiful. I love your energy.
Thank
just
you.
everything about you, your music. I definitely am going to be putting this in the playlist, and Sirius Tejano will be putting on the playlist. Please, y'all go follow. Big saludos going out to TDK. Hello. Piano. Hello. I know TDK. You know TDK?
Yeah.
George.
Not personally, but yeah, he would always follow me in my music journey before. So I'm happy to hear you're here.
Yes. Albert, saludos to everybody, and our friends out there in Colorado. Thank you, and all over Texas. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight and getting to meet really in depth in person. I feel like we're like just really close in our stories, and I think that's amazing. You just have a lot more energy than I do. I think it's old and you know.
I don't even want to know how old you are, because I got after somebody, they're like, oh, I feel old. And I was like, I don't even want to know how old you are, because I'm probably older than you. And you are not old.
I'm older than you, but I'm proud. I'll just say I'm 46 years old. So
you're still so young. You know,
yeah, we got a lot of work to do. That's what we got to do. I'm going to take it after Hailyn Dea here, and we're going to get a lot of work done.
There you go. You know, it's just baby steps, one step at a time. And it starts off with waking up at 5 a.m. Right, Dan? He's probably
that's probably the toughest, and that's probably the toughest part.
Yeah, well, you know, it can get hard, but when I don't want to wake up in the morning, because I don't always want to wake up. Like I mentioned, in a matter of 60 seconds, I go through all sorts of emotions. I remember that I'm here and that I'm alive and that I'm breathing, and that's a huge blessing and gift in itself. He said, I miss your workout videos. And so then I remember why I'm doing all of this. And I'm like, you know what? The world needs me. And so I got to show up, and I got to show up as the best version of myself. And how do I start that? Okay, let me get up. Let me write what I'm grateful for. Let me like pump myself up. And then like, I just start moving around, and I'm like, okay, I got to do this and this and this. And then, you know, for me, that's what helps me get up in the morning. So maybe, but was I like this 4 years ago? Was I like this like when I was going through it? No, you're not always going to be like that. I wasn't always like that. So it's a process. It's a roller coaster, and it's life, and it's a journey, and every part of it is necessary. Because if we look at it without contrast, you don't have a picture. You need contrast. You need that to be able to see all the colors. You wouldn't be able to see that. You wouldn't be able to enjoy that if it wasn't for the contrast or the dark spots or the dark shades. You know,
they build us. They make us who we are. They test us.
They really do. They really do. So maybe it's not right now. Maybe it's 7 a.m. Maybe it's 7:05 a.m. or whatever. just start, you know, and eventually you're gonna get there. So I believe in you. I know you can.
Working on it. George, any final questions for Hailyn here?
I got a question. I was watching one of your videos. What is up with that tractor? And you bringing down a house, or you building a house?
Oh,
So I don't know if you can hear me. It's like reconnecting.
yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
There. Can you see me now?
There you are. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. It said it was like reconnecting. Sorry. So I don't know if y'all can play the song in the background. I'd love to tell you about that. That answers that question actually. If you play El Tú Soy Yo, that's what that song was about. So if you listen to the lyric, it says, Yo era esa casa rota de atrás. I was that broken house in the back. Y todos me decían que ellos no lo harían porque me iba a costar más de lo que yo tenía para dar. So everybody saw that fix and flip project. It was my first fix and flip project. And for those of y'all that aren't in the construction world or in the real estate world, it's taking an old beat down house, remodeling it, and selling it for a profit. That's what fix and flip means. So I was like, man, like I love this project. And something told me this is for me. And it doesn't matter, in my opinion, because I can only come from my opinion and my experience, what anybody else thinks. If it's your intuition telling you something, listen to it. Every time that I ignore mine, I regret it. And I can't say that I've ever regretted going with my intuition, ever. So my intuition was like yelling loud and clear, you need to invest in that house and you need to do the fix and flip on it. I learned so much. Like, I guess now in a way, I'm like, I'm not impressed easily by men. I'm like, bro, if you can't haul a trailer, if you don't know how to, drive a bobcat, if you don't know how to dig a trench, if you don't know how to actually like install insulation and get on top of the roof and do all of that, I'm not interested at all. So next, and if you don't know about real estate or commercial real estate or farm and ranch, next. Like, there's so many things that I learned with that home. And in a way, it was like shortly after my dad passed away. It was shortly after I went through a really nasty breakup of years, of relationship of years. And it was so like heartbreaking. I was like, damn, like, this sucks. I'm really down right now, and I'm just trying to breathe and claw myself back out of it. And so I had that project, and I have never worked harder in my life. Learning all the codes, going and taking all the classes, because I got people that they looked at me and they're like, "You're the contractor. This is gonna be easy." They're like, okay, I'm going to charge you XYZ, like an outrageous amount of money to fix this, because the whole thing needed to be remodeled from the foundation all the way to the top. Basically, that home ended up being like 95% new, because once you start ripping up and tearing up the walls and the sheetrock, and I was like, what the hell? Like, how are the electricity, like, how are people not being electrocuted? Like, I opened up the walls and I was like, well, that wasn't in the budget. We got to do all new plumbing, all new electrical, all new this. Like, what the hell did I get into?
Let's convert this into a dog park when we're done.
Basically, let's just, like, knock everything down, and that'd be the best thing for everybody involved. But yeah, so I learned all of that. I learned how to, I'm not new to being in the business world and being looked at in a different way because I'm female, because I looked younger, or because people underestimated me. My entire life, people have underestimated me, and I just smile, and I remember who was there, and I remember who was not there, and I'll leave that at that. But I learned so much. And then there was the crazy dudes that were like, oh, well, this bit, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, that's a really low amount. I either, and it was one of two things. Either they didn't know what they were doing, or then they hit me up with like, so would you like to go out for dinner later? And I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
Trying to build a house.
Yeah, I'm like, no. Have you looked on in the mirror, please. You're pretty gross.
Bañate.
Yes, like the Selena song. What did she say? Lo que él necesitaba es ir a darse un baño. Like, yeah. I got a lot of that. So I got the super high bids. I got the super low bids. I got the you don't know what you're doing. You're just a woman or you're a little kid. You never done this before. And I got all of that. I learned all of that. I went and I educated myself. I went and I haven't taken the exam, but I took all the classes and I have all the books for the codes. To become a licensed home inspector. Not because I wanted to be a home inspector, but
so you know what to do.
And I thought it was freaking hilarious that men would be like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
actually,
it's going to be 17 squares for the roof. And I want 30-year shingles and I want blah, 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 and you're going to need to do this and that. And they're like, how do you know? And I was like, how do you not know?
Yes.
Get out of here, you
What'd you say? Because I know how to read, damn it. That's why.
Because I know how to read, and I went to educate myself. And then, and I met my tios. I adopted them. My tia Heather, and my tio Aaron. They took me under their wings, and my tio was like, I met you. And I was like, I gotta take care of her. Because they're gonna eat her alive, I gotta teach her. And so, and he did. And then he called my tia, and he was like, "I met this girl. We gotta help her." And she was like, "What?" And then she met me, and she was like, "Oh my God, we have to help her." Like she's gonna get eaten alive in the construction world. And I think it was part of like I was just genuine and I was honest, and I was like, I don't care what it takes. I'm willing to learn. And if you're willing to teach me, I will do it. And I think that's why they helped me. And they became my family. And they lived like super close to where I lived at the time. And they're like, Mija, you're coming over. Hey, you're doing this. Hey, we're having a piñata. Hey, we're having a carne asada. You better be here. And so like, he's like a father figure to me. And she's my tia. Like, I love them so much. Like, if they really are my blood, and they taught me a lot. So yes, I was going through a hard time. Yes, I really was like that broken house that everybody was like, pass. Well, I didn't pass on me. I invested in me, and nobody can take that experience from me. And the relationships that came from it. I was just like, dude, I got my freaking PhD in construction. I was the one driving the tractor, and I was the one digging. And so it was awesome that I was able to fix and flip that house. Well, the flip part didn't happen until it was actually sold, but I was able to fix it and remodel it in 3 months, when usually a project like that would be 6 to 8 months, because I was there every single day. And I was like, I was on them. I got my steel toe boots, and I was like, putting on my cap or my bandana. I'm like, if I'm here doing it, and I stay until, and so it would, like, the guys would stay because they're like, no nos va a ganar, es una mujer, and I'm like, y'all can go home. No, we're gonna stay and finish. All right, okay. And then,
but you kind of did it in the music industry. Like, what you did there, you're doing that in the music industry. You came, and you just said, I have been absent. I'm gonna learn all about it. You write it. You help make it. You get the melodies. You Corey, you put it together. You had amazing talent, but it's kind of the same path that you're doing with your home and your music, and that is so apparent. Like, your website is just you. Like, it literally is you, because you have the realtor side, and you're headstrong and you're smart, but your music is just as captivating, and your story on the music side is just as beautiful as your real. So that hard work is showing through on both sides, girl.
Thank you.
It is. It shows your resiliency, and obviously you're freaking strong. So I don't think there's anything that you're gonna encounter that's gonna intimidate you or kind of throw you off course. I mean,
Yeah, I'm excited. I have an amazing team behind me. And all the experience and everything that I've been through, like I mentioned, like, I think that's why I'm ready now. Like, nothing scares me. Nothing is too far out of reach now. Like, I'm in a place mentally where I'm like, join me or get out of my way, because you are gonna regret staying in front of me and trying to block me. Like, don't
Oh,
put me in a
there's a
box.
tractor there.
Yeah.
I see the tractor. Move out of my way.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, I love all of that. I love driving the tractors. I lived in an RV when I was in San Antonio and my house was in Laredo. I was the one pulling the RV. I was the one backing it up and being like, and then I would like hop out and everybody's like, what? And I'm like, hi, can I help you?
It's me.
Well, I would say
Yeah.
that's on my bucket
My
list to
name
drive a tractor one day. And then again, I'm not allowed to play with tools at home. So
No, he's not.
wishful thinking.
Don't do that. Unless you know how to
Wishful
do it,
thinking.
don't do it. It can be
I'll
very
tell
expensive.
Leslie. Like, Leslie, don't let him in the toolbox, please.
You're gonna see it in my backyard one day.
I know a good contractor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Amazing story. Amazing. Y'all go follow on Facebook. Are you on TikTok?
Yeah. Everything. It's just my name. HAILYNBELLA. And I'm on all social media platforms. I will always have everything on the website also. And some really awesome stuff is going to happen really soon for my fan base. So yeah, more on that on the next interview. But if you follow me and you see my stories and you see all the stuff I'm posting, especially going to the website where we're going to have, a button for the sponsors, button for donations, and a button to take you to a special place only for my fans, but not an OnlyFans. Wow,
I'm about to say, let's retract it. Let's retract that.
Like that. Once she
like, what the?
by that,
this one definitely took a left turn and is not coming back.
Okay, so rewind. So anyway, so you have all social media websites and music media platforms. But she's also going to she's also going to be able to do some giveaways for her fans. So follow her and go check out her webpage. I'm just kidding. But I definitely am following you. You piqued my interest at makeup. I have a whole closet of makeup, so I'm like, ooh, what's coming up? Because but you're a woman of all trades, and it's admiring that you've taken so much into control. Like, you had no choice and you just did everything that you need to do. Like, you sound like your father raised a very independent woman, and I can relate to that like 1,000. Like, be strong and just keep going, and you remind me of that. Be strong. Like, so I commend you, and I can't wait to see what's coming in for you, and I definitely follow her on all the music media platforms, on social media. You're going to see what's happening, and then we definitely will have you again. Your music will be streaming on Sirius Tejano. And for everyone that's watching and watches after the show, go request her music, go stream it, go like it, give it the little heart. It matters so much. Those little hearts matter. It tells her what you guys like. It tells her what she's doing right. So heart it, share it, like it. And of course, follow Sirius Tejano for more interviews like this with Hailyn. And I'm so excited I got to meet you. And if you're ever in Dallas, message me. If I ever go down to the 956 or San Antonio and be like, where are you? So I will definitely message you. And thank you to everybody that joined us.
Yes. No, thank you guys. Thank you again for having me, for giving me your time. I know that's the most precious asset that we have, because we will never get that back. So I appreciate you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to speak on your platform, for inviting me, for streaming my music, for everything, for allowing me to just be me. This is me.
I love
this
it.
is me all the time.
I love the energy. Like, it just came through the laptop. I was like, okay, I don't need any more energy drinks. I'll just thrive off of her energy right now.
Just follow me, and then you'll be like, what? So yeah, no, I can't thank you enough. Thank you to all my sponsors, and to everybody that is watching. Thank you to my fans. You guys every day. Like I mentioned, it's not easy to wake up at 5 a.m, but when I think of my fans, that means the world to me. You guys are the reason why I'm here. And then again, Big time. Remember, what up time is 5 a.m. Yes.
It's 7 for me, but 5 for you. I like my extra 2 hours of sleep, and then I go to the gym all groggy. But yes,
There you go. As long as you go, just showing up.
Yes.
That's like 80% of the work. But yeah, George, I don't hear you saying about what time you go to the gym.
I usually go, but that's because there's a Torchy's Tacos right next door. So.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I'm staying quiet.
Sure. Busted. Call you out real quick. But yeah, no. Thank you again to everybody. A huge thank you to Club Jumpers and to Sam. Dan, I love you so much. I love you. Again, beautiful scenery here at Cocoa Berry in Laredo, Texas. I would show you Marbella, but she would kill me because she doesn't have her whole glam on. So she's like, no. But she's here fixing up another amazing client. She looks beautiful. But yeah, so if you're in Laredo and you see me, please stop and say hi, or take a picture, tag me. Like she said, like Mary was mentioning, there's going to be giveaways. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. I will always remember that I said OnlyFans on your thing, but I did not mean it like that. I can't believe I said that.
You probably had all the dudes in the comments looking for, hey, where's that link?
I'm
It's
like,
not
wait
in
a
our
minute.
page. That
Wait
link
a
is not on our
minute.
page.
They're like, let me see.
Yeah, you're gonna have some extra traffic
How
on
did
that
she
page
spell
tonight.
her name again with the H? What was it?
Like, dude, for real. I and I can't make this up. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was married for a day because I wanted to evade the law. I talked about having an OnlyFans thing. Like, I'm gonna write a song about it. So yeah, they're gonna probably
It already
take a
sounds like a
picture.
country song. So
Okay,
there's something going on there with
did
that.
I hit something? Did I hit on something right there? Did I hit on something?
Yes,
Nice.
You hit on something. I'll give you a sneak peek if I can just have like 2 minutes, and then you can shut me up.
Absolutely.
And be like, okay, end. But if you listen to the track El Tu Soy Yo, the one that answered your question about like what the heck were you doing on the tractor. By the way, if you guys ever dig in Texas, there's a phone number you're supposed to call. I did not call. Please call that number before you start digging. But
411 to avoid calling 911.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a whole other story about it. Every single day as a general contractor for that house, freaking awesome. And an experience. Anyways, but yeah, so I came up with this idea. I was like, why can't a country song be Mexican? And I was like, something like that. Like, why? And that's where I love working with Club Jumpers, because they are so freaking humble. And aside from that, I have free range. I can do and say and experiment with whatever I want because they support me and they allow me to be an artist all around. So when I asked Sam that, he's like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, I have this crazy idea, Sam. I have this crazy idea. And he was like, okay, what? And I was like, what if we have a song that starts off like a cumbia, has a country section, and the whole tempo changes, but then there's more. It ends like a freaking cumbia at the end, and then it's in Spanish, and then it's in English, and then it's in Spanish because I'm living in 956 again, and it's all Spanglish, and I was just like, and all this, and he was like, calm down. Let me do it, and so I was literally in his living room, and I was just like, okay, and then like I want this sound, and then I want this instrument, and he's like, okay, like this, and dude, it was like this amazing like factory for music happening, and his wife was just like watching it, like eating like some snacks, and she was like, yeah, you just invented something. And I was like, I did. And then we called Dan, and I was like, you should have been at the studio here today. We just invented something, and I'm not going to call it Mexico pop. And he was like, what? And I was like, because it's Mexican. It's MEX for Mexican, and it's CO for country, Mexico pop. And he was like, And I was like, dude, it's gonna be great. And he was like, okay. And so the first Mexico pop is actually El Tu Soy Yo. If you really listen to it, it starts off as a cumbia, it turns into country pop, and then it ends up as a cumbia. The tempos are changing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. She's like, ya me tengo que ir. And I was like, okay. So anyways, listen to that El Tu Soy Yo. That is a faux pop genre that I did. And and welcome all artists to do a Mexico. And there's going to be, I guess, a little hint, another one coming out very, very soon. And it's going to have a really awesome feature on it, another artist. So, yeah,
Well, we'll be looking
when you
for
said
it,
country,
and I'm definitely going to listen to that a lot more closely.
Listen to it, yeah. But yeah, lots of good stuff coming.
Okay.
They are kicking me out of here. I probably should have gotten off the air with you guys forever ago, but y'all are so sweet, and you let me just keep yapping away about my crazy experiences and what I do all day. But no, thank you
You're
again.
amazing.
Thank you. Like, that really means a lot. I am happy that I was able to deliver hopefully what you guys were looking for on this interview, and I'm just so grateful for the platform. Thank you again to all the fans, to my team, my producers, to Rosie, and especially to all the fans and the radio stations like you guys. So Sirius Tejano, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I hope you invite me again. I hope I didn't scare you because I'm crazy, and I look forward to chatting with y'all again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. We'll be playing your music here. Thank you, George. Thank you.
We'll be looking forward to the next one.
Thank you. All right. Well, y'all have a great night, and we'll talk soon. And keep an eye out for the music. It's coming up really soon.
We're so excited. We'll be jamming it here on Sirius Tejano. Thank you so much, Hailyn Dea. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, she's so much fun. Y'all go request her music. Be on the lookout for her music coming out. Please go follow, stream, and don't forget to download the Sirius Tejano app. Follow us on Live 365. And George, anything you want to close us out with tonight?
No, that was fun. That was fun. You know, I walked in dragging, you know what, through the front door, and this thing just perked me up. So no, it was great.
She's like a ball of energy. I love it. I can't wait to interview her again.
That was great. Very, 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 very nice human being. She's got a lot of history behind her as far as what got her to this point, and I think it's just going to keep on getting better for her. So we'll definitely be on the lookout for her.
I agree. Well, until our next interview, you guys be following Sirius Tejano so you know that when we are going to be live, but follow them. We have a lot of amazing, talented DJs and personalities here on Sirius Tejano. Thank you to Joe and Sirius Tejano for having us tonight with you all. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. Be safe and God bless.
Have a good night, y'all. Thank you.